All right, let's just jump right in because 2026 is shaping up to be one of the biggest years for the iPhone in a very, very long time. We're not just talking about one new device, we're talking about two totally different visions for the future of the phone, and they're launching side by side. And yeah, that's really the heart of what we're talking about today. Apple seems to be going down two completely different roads at the same time. One is all about perfecting a design that's already legendary, and the other, well, it's about breaking the mold entirely. So meet our two main characters for this story. On one side, you've got the iPhone 18 Pro, which is basically the peak of the classic iPhone formula. And on the other, you have the iPhone Fold, a device that completely rethinks what an iPhone can even be. So let's start with the evolution first, shall we? Right. So this path is all about refinement. With the iPhone 18 Pro, Apple isn't trying to reinvent the wheel. They're trying to master it. Insiders are calling this an S year for the Pro models. And if you followed Apple for a while, you know that means the design is going to feel very familiar, though we might get a new maroon color, which would be pretty cool. But the real magic, the real upgrades, are all happening under the hood. And the main focus of all that magic is crystal clear, the camera. According to reports, Apple is planning what could be, and I'm quoting here, the biggest camera upgrades that the iPhone has ever seen. I mean, that is a massive claim, right? Okay, so to really get one of the most exciting upgrades, we need a super quick photography lesson. A teleconverter is this extra piece of glass you stick between a camera's lens and its sensor, and its whole job is to increase the zoom. It's a really clever trick from the world of big professional cameras, and it looks like Apple has found a way to shrink it down and stick it inside an iPhone. So here's how it all comes together. We're looking at three huge upgrades. First up, a variable aperture on the main lens. That's going to give you that blurry background effect you see on fancy DSLR cameras. Second, a larger aperture on the zoom lens itself, which just means better, brighter photos at night. And third, that new teleconverter tech, which could change everything for zooming in. How much of a change are we talking? Well, get this. It could potentially double the current optical zoom, taking the iPhone from 5x all the way to a crazy 10x. Just think about what that really means for you. Capturing super sharp photos of your kid's soccer game from the stands or getting a detailed shot of some animal on a hike, all without that grainy digital zoom mess. It's truly pro-level zoom in your pocket. And believe it or not, it doesn't even stop there. We're also hearing about more cinematic video, better performance and bright sunlight, and a big one for all you selfie takers, a huge jump for the front camera, going from 18 all the way up to 24 megapixels. It is a top-to-bottom camera system overhaul. Now, this slide is where things get really interesting. The physical battery, it's only getting about 2% bigger. But when you combine that with the new A20 chip, which is supposedly 30% more efficient, the result is a massive leap in battery life. We're talking a rated battery life of over 40 hours for the Pro Max for the very first time. All right, let's completely switch gears. Forget refinement. This is all about revolution. This is the iPhone Fold. And the design details we're hearing about, they are just wild. You've got this compact 5.3-inch screen on the outside that opens up into a giant 7.8-inch display on the inside. But look at the other choices. Touch ID is back, but it's in the power button. The volume buttons are on the top edge, kind of like an iPad mini. Super weird. And maybe the strangest detail of all, the camera bump will always be black, no matter what color phone you buy. Of course, with any foldable, the first thing anyone asks is it going to break? Apple knows this. They absolutely know this. And apparently their number one goal is to solve the durability problem that's, plagued every other foldable out there. And here's how they're planning to pull it off. They're aiming for a main screen with no visible crease, a new special coating to make it more scratch resistant, and then there's the hinge, made of a liquid metal composite of titanium and steel, designed to be folded hundreds of thousands of times without breaking down. Now, to power a beast like this, you need a huge battery, right? So the Fold is rumored to have the biggest physical battery ever put in an iPhone, over 5,500 milliamp hours. But, and this is a big but, with that giant 7.8-inch screen to power, it's still a huge question mark if that'll actually translate to record-breaking battery life in the real world. So, we have these two very different devices. Let's look at what they share, and then the one massive factor that sets them worlds apart. And yeah, I'm talking about the price tag. The great unifier here is the brains of the operation, the A20 chip.
Both the perfected Pro and the revolutionary Fold will be powered by the exact same next-generation, super-efficient processor. So no matter which form factor you choose, you're getting Apple's absolute best performance.
And that really brings us to the ultimate choice, doesn't it? Do you go for the familiar design that you know and love, but with a world-class camera and marathon battery life? Or do you opt for a brand new form factor that gives you a tablet-sized screen that fits in your pocket? So let's talk numbers. For the iPhone 18 Pro Max, sources are claiming that Apple is going to keep the price steady at $1,199. Apparently, they're going to absorb the increased costs themselves instead of passing them on to you. But if you want that brand new folding technology, get ready to open your wallet. The iPhone Fold is rumored to start at a minimum of $2,000, which would make it by far the most expensive iPhone ever made. So, as we wrap this up, it's pretty clear what's happening. Apple is presenting two very different futures for its most important product. And this also marks a totally new strategy for them. Both the Pro and the Fold are set to launch in the fall of 2026, but the standard models are going to be held back until the spring of 2027. It's the first time we've ever seen them do a split release like this. Kind of interesting. Ultimately, that's what this all boils down to. It's a choice between the absolute best version of something we already know and love and a bold, expensive leap into something entirely new. And that leaves us with the final question. In 2026, when you're faced with these two devices, which path represents the future of the phone for you? Is it evolution or revolution?